Oh, yeah.
be here.
Good.
But he decided to KU. But it keeps him occupied.
What's he majoring in?
Not sure, but Crosby said he wants to go to medicine. Crosby said, he told me, no, be a hospital administrator. He goes, you're off on holidays, weekends. You don't have to carry the liability insurance, and you get paid almost as much.
He always told Stephen, or told Ryan, go to radiology. The only thing you can do is touch them with radons or whatever.
Photons, yeah, I touch people with photons. Yeah.
It's 5:35.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing was consent agenda, April approval, July 26, 2021 minutes, July 2021 accounts payable summary, and approval utility account refunds in the amount of $444.85. Is there a motion we approve the consent agenda as read?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second. Any other comments on the agenda? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next, regular agenda, none. Public comments, petition, memorial, none. Old business, discussion of kneecap, request for the property. I guess they've been waiting around long enough to for us to make a decision, and I'm going to force a vote tonight and let everybody vote their conscience. But I'm going to make a motion. We go in partnerships with the kneecap for the skate park facility with relocation numbers, and that's that. I'll make that motion. There's a second.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and second to go ahead with the kneecap program. On removal of the skate park and bring in their facilities and keep them in Hiawatha, Kansas. And motion been made and seconded. We'll vote.
I mean, is there any discussion first, or are we just going to vote?
Uh,
Is there any discussion first, or do we just vote?
Do I?
Is there any discussion about this, or do we?
I think everybody is, all the stuff we got here in front of us, we've already discussed. And I think everybody's got their mind made up now. So I don't think I think we're just beating the horse to death, and I think they deserve an answer. So let's just go ahead and vote.
And so we're voting, the motion is that this specific
Facility.
on First Street, we're not going to look at any other.
That'll be the option after. We just need to let them know that we're not interested or we're interested.
For the First Street.
For the First Street, yeah, that's what's on the agenda right now. Vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion.
Opposed?
Nay.
I guess the only thing I can say is the people in kneecap will look diligently at our side of the operation to see if we can find you a facility somewhere else rather than that location. The commissioners have spoke. That facility is not an option at this time. And so I guess we'll work with you, and Mike will work with you to try to put something together. Okay, sorry.
I mean, there's the other options.
Like I said, I would hope that we can find another position. I thought there was some more information that might be out there. I mean, we do have other things, and the cost of moving the skate park, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want kneecap to leave in any way, shape or form, but I think that we need to look at other.
Can I speak as an employee now?
Go ahead, you got,
We did offer to move the skate park on our expense. Looking over there by the skate, or where the current skate park is, there's a perfect spot where there kind of was a disc, which I'm guessing that's all gonna have to go, because for the baseball, softball, if that ever gets passed and moves on, that's gonna take a lot of it. The skate park could easily be right on the other side of the pool. We've looked at a lot of it. We've worked with architects, many hours.
I'm sorry, Heather, can you come up?
Oh, sorry. We've worked with architects many hours, and the main reason we were looking at that property is we were planning on partnering with the Lutheran. Okay, Steve. Okay. Planning on partnering with the Lutheran Church to buy their property to put our Head Start, which you guys have all heard this. It was just going to be the ideal location. We right there on Main Street, met with KDOT to have our administration building, which would have a storm shelter built in it, and also a community conference room, which I know Stacy is always booked at the Fisher Center. There's not many places in Hiawatha to have a meeting held anymore. And also it'd be somewhere where the farmer's market could come in the bad weather. They could be in our parking lot in the evenings as well. Main reason is we'd be right there in the same area as the Head Start, not on the same property, but connecting. We appreciate your guys' consideration. Some of the places we have looked at with Mike, Jeanette, and Scott did, lots and lots of ground work would have to be done. We also have over 45 fleet vehicles that we would have to have parking for. Therefore, a lot of those spots would not hold our fleet of buses and vehicles. We also have been working with the architect on making it a very nice looking building. It'd be very street appeal. It would not be just throwing a building that, I mean, it's a $4 million project we've been working on very hard. I guess if there are some other properties that you think that fit our needs, size-wise, you have to consider we do need parking for our vehicles. We need that kind of stuff. So, thanks.
okay, thank you, Heather.
I spent some time looking at the property that we mentioned before that's west of the Ag Museum. And I spent some time trying to scale a Google map to match the scale that's on your preliminary plans. And it looks to me like that your facility would fit on that land, both facilities. The city owns that strip of land that goes almost over to the highway. So there would be a place to grab some dirt to level that up. In my opinion, if you were to build where you would like to build, you're going to be spending money to relocate the skate park, and you're going to be spending money to buy the land from the church if they're willing to sell it, which that hadn't been determined yet. And in my opinion, there's probably $100,000 or more that you wouldn't have to spend if you moved your facility over to one of these other places. And granted, you'd have to do some dirt work, but I'm thinking that 100,000 would offset the cost of doing some of that dirt work over there on that property that's right west of the Ag Museum, and it's still close by. It's got a good access. It didn't appear to me that your cost estimate had any money in it to develop the road coming off of Iowa Street to drive into the back where your bus parking was going to go, where the skate park is. And you also want to be able to pull semis in there, and that entrance off Iowa Street, you'd have to rebuild that to get a big truck like that in there. And I don't know if that's in your cost estimate.
We spoke with KDOT on what would need to be done for that.
Well, it didn't look like you're parking off of First Street. It didn't look like there was a way to get around the back of the building off of First Street.
Because per KDOT, they prefer it off of First Street with semis.
Okay, well, maybe you changed your plans then, but
No, it would come in back behind, kind of where that route by Mr. Bill's garden.
well,
That
that's,
road would have to be, yes, built.
yeah. And it didn't look to me like you had money in there to do that. Maybe you do, I don't know. I did look at your cost estimate, but I don't know if there's enough in there to develop that road. But And then another thought that was given to me was maybe you could purchase some land on the east side of the Ag Museum, that farm field that's right there, and use some of that savings.
And we're trying to come to town. I mean, right
I
now we are
realize
in the
that,
Hiawatha rural area
We don't have
currently.
an infinite amount of choices here.
I understand that, but we're just getting farther and farther away from town.
Yeah,
Right.
but Iowa Street's not that far from where you're asking.
Where?
West of the Ag Museum.
I'm just saying, but we're going farther and farther. We would like to be in town. Our clients don't have transportation. The farther we keep pushing, why don't we just stay where we're at and put the millions of dollars into the building we're at? We're trying to be a part of the Maine of Hiawatha.
So are you actually looking for other facilities in the area?
That would be Jeanette's.
Okay.
We have looked at multiple facilities. We have looked at multiple properties. I know Mike mentioned 2 at your last board meeting. We actually went to 5 or 6 or 7 that day. We've looked at multiple, and we're looking throughout Brown County. I will still try to work with the Zion Lutheran Church. We very much, from the beginning, wanted to get our Head Start Center moved. That's our number one priority and always has been, looking for a new home for our Head Start Center. We do need to keep a Head Start Center in Hiawatha because we just had to close our Sabetha Center this week. So in order to serve those children from the Sabetha area and Donovan County area, it's critical that we keep a facility for our Head Start program in Hiawatha. The admin building does not need to stay here. So potentially admin will move elsewhere because this is really going to hold up our process. The grant is due on September 24th for its initial submission, which I think is maybe actually October 1st. The grant writer's given us about a week to get it to him.
Right.
So we will move ahead and hope that we can relocate the Head Start Center someplace in Hiawatha. Thanks.
I'll add, Commissioner Middendorf's talked about Iowa Street. I mean, one of the benefits there is a sidewalk, actually all the way out to the cemetery. I mean, as far as the foot traffic and whatnot, there is a sidewalk to that location. Whereas on First Street, there's not. There's not a sidewalk south of Iowa Street. So that is one benefit. And you mentioned the grant. I mean, that's also pending the county
Of course,
being willing to.
which we can't go to the county until we have land. That would be foolish, a waste of everybody's time. So either we will come up with another solution and do something so that we can submit that grant September 24th, or this will hold us up for at least another year.
Is the property next to the Ag Museum though, on just to the west of it? I mean, is that still worth looking at?
Well, we looked at it that one day with you. I mean, are there utilities there?
Well, yeah. I sent the email. Was that last week? I mean, talking about that I had gotten some ballpark. I mean, granted, they're ballpark numbers.
Oh, on the dirt
On
work?
the dirt work and ballpark. Now, granted, it's visual examination, not soil. You know, they didn't do any soil testing or anything, but ballparked around 75,000 for the dirt work there. Adversely, as Commissioner Middendorf was speaking with the RV park, you know, the quote I received on moving just the concrete for the skate park was $48,435. Dirt work there was ballparked at 25,000. So, I mean, in my mind, adding in, you know, the fence, the picnic table, the ramps and everything at the skate park, you're already over 75,000 at the RV park. So in my mind, I mean, like Commissioner Middendorf, the city, I'm not speaking for the commission, nor would I ever, but we own from Iowa Street almost all the way to 36 Highway. So there's plenty of land there.
Well, I know there's a lot of land there.
Right, but to accommodate both facilities. And so that's why I was asking if it's still a consideration or something, you know, that could be explored further, starting tomorrow morning, if you'd like.
Well, as Heather said, one of our goals was to try to get as close to downtown as possible.
Oh, it's
But
a quarter mile at most from the RV park. I don't even
Yeah.
think that much.
And there's the walking trail from there. So at least if there's foot traffic, like I said, there's a walking trail that people can use. I know having a building right on First Street with students, to me, that's always a concern as well. If we have any runners and you've got First Street right there. Iowa Street, I think, provides a little bit more security. And I said, I don't see it as being that much further out. And when Mike and Commissioner Middendorf read out those numbers, it's a wash, if not even a little bit more economically sound to be out on Iowa.
Well, we will consider options that we are actually not committed to staying in Hiawatha other than for Head Start. So thank you.
Okay, well, the thing of it is, I guess we're looking at relocation right now because the commission voted down the kneecap proposal at this, where the skate park is. So I guess where we're headed right now is into helping you on finding something on a relocation, and we'll do that. I mean, we'll work diligent all the time, and actually I'll do some work for you on land purchases and stuff like that. And, if you want to move east to the Ag Museum, because that land's all pretty flat out there on the east side, and then all you'd have to do is actually just build. And the only thing you need is access, road access into your facility. But then land is not cheap. And this ag land, and it's in the county anyway. But
Well, I think there's a chunk of it right next to the Ag Museum that's in the city limits already.
that's
According to
across
the GIS map.
GIS. Which this all could be annexed in without a problem too, right?
we can annex it in, and that's not a major problem. But again, we got to get the land's got to be purchased first before we can annex it in. And but if they would, I'd even well, Dave's talking about that 10-acre patch. That's the one that needs $75,000 worth of dirt work on it. That there on the top side, if you could buy that, if you even pay $10,000 an acre for the land, it would be cheaper than even the dirt work on the facility down below there next to the creek. And so, I mean, that would be a flat location with very minimal dirt work and ready to, but again, it's got to be purchased. And I think Near Farms owns that land. And but that's it's a perfect location. I think another division of NECAP bought property out next to the Walmart out there, and that would have probably been a good place for you to locate there too, because that was like one time Walmart was going to build a gas station there, but they gave that up a long time ago. So, but I think another division of NECAP's going in there and building. So they're,
That's the area on aging.
yeah, okay. So, okay, well,
Thank you.
I'd like to just say, I truly hope that we can work something out and keep you guys in town. One thing that I also was thinking about is in other locations, you could have room to grow later as well. The location around the church, you're pretty well, there's no room for expansion. So that's just something to think about as well, that these other locations are a lot bigger and you might be able to expand later.
thanks for coming.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Next thing on the agenda, year of service award to Dominic Greer. You guys come up back behind here and read it, Dave. Why don't you read it there?
Oh, read it. You want to read it from the podium and then
Read it from the podium.
come up for the photo op?
Well, tonight we're here to talk about a 15-year service award for an employee that I was fortunate enough to steal from a very, very good company here in town, but I was fortunate enough to steal him. And having him with me over 15 years, you know, he's been a great asset to this community. He's been a superb employee. He's there every day. He's there on time. I just can't say enough good things about him. So we want to thank Dominic Greer for his demonstration and continued commitment and required to achieve excellence and success to the city of Hiawatha. Dominic Greer, you do make a difference. Get our picture taken with the mayor.
So I can hobble over there between you guys.
Let them come to you.
They'll come up
Yeah,
here,
they'll
Bill.
come to you.
You stay there. Hey, Dave. Back up a little bit here. Get this chair.
All right.
It's all about the bugs.
Can I say anything?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Please. When I left Walmart, I didn't know, what I was getting into, but I've loved this town. I've lived here all my life. I love this town. Anyone that knows me knows I love this town. And 15 went quick, and but Mike and Tish and working with Dave have been so approachable. Everyone has been, and you guys making all the hard decisions on the commission. I appreciate it more than you really know. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Here's to another 15.
Well, Dominic,
Oh, you're locked in.
Please.
well, Dominic, always remember that behind a man, there's a good woman. You got one there. Thank you. Next thing on the agenda is consider approval replacing engine in a PD Unit 1. John?
Yeah, we tried to send this out to everybody. I'm happy to rehash or I can stand for questions. I think that for a whole host of reasons, this unit is definitely worth repairing. I think before we talked about how hard it is to even find them anymore. Plus, the way I've got this one assigned out, I expect to get another 3 or 4 years out of it. So, but I'm happy to entertain any questions.
You're recommending replacement
I am.
versus repair the current engine.
I apologize, yes. And the only reason I am is that the replacement of the motor comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and the repair comes with a taillight warranty.
Well, I think we need a 3-year warranty on it if we're gonna spend money.
Exactly.
Spend a little more
And
money.
there's about $1,500 difference.
Yeah.
12
Oh, that's right, 12, you're right.
sounds even better.
Yes, well, yeah, but I have those estimates, should anybody need them.
It's
I'd entertain a motion to go ahead and have John give him
Thank
the
you.
authority to put a new engine in PD Unit 1.
So moved.
What is the cost of it?
$6,703.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, it's on the letter.
it's in the packet.
Okay, okay.
Did you get your packet, Brian?
I do have it, but it's on my phone, so
Okay.
I can't look at 2 things at once.
There you go. Well, that's good thinking. All right, the motion been made. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next, in front of us out there in front, we've got results of our concrete depth examination on Miami Street, and Mike's got them laying here. And I guess with KDOT involved, Mike, is where do we go from here?
Well, as you know, we we follow the KDOT specs per the contract for the first 27 cores. If we continue, well, say if, but KDOT specs them require any deficiency 1 inch less than specified depth or more, you go 10 feet in either direction parallel with the center line to see if you can get out of that deficient depth. If you can, you go another 10 feet, but you do that until you find acceptable depth. And then in between that, if you do 2 of them on either side and they're both good, then those set the boundary of your deficient area, and that's to be torn out and replaced. Anything that is less, how do I put this, less than 1 inch less, that makes sense. Greater, in this case, if it's greater than 7 inches but less than 7.8 inches, then you take 2 additional bores at least 200 feet apart and average all 3 of those. And then from there, there's whatever that average comes out to be. If after the average it's between 0.21 and 0.3 inches less than 8, there's a table with KDOT that kind of spells out deductions. So at this point, my recommendation is to continue on with the KDOT specs. Now it will be with 9 that fall within the 1 criteria. There's 18 cores right there. And then with the 2 on either side of the 7 inch, there's at least 20 cores. Now,
So you're looking about the same money again?
yeah, I haven't gotten a quote, but we did 27 cores for 3,900. So, I'm guessing somewhere around 3,000, maybe a little less, but somewhere around there. The only hitch is if we do those 2 on either side of the 7 inch core and they're still shallow, then we got to do 2 more. I'd be surprised if we hit 27 again. I mean, if it took that many to get to it, but
Well, we need to go ahead and finish doing the core sample so we can actually know exactly where we're at the end of the bottom line. So I think we need to approve the funding for the additional core samples. You got a number, Mike?
I can get a number from them, but
It's within your limits.
we could do it like the last one within my spending authority.
Okay.
And then report
Hey,
back. Yes.
Mike, out of the 27 cores, how many were within limits?
17.
And there are several that are 1 inch or 2. I mean, we have a couple of 9 inches. Another one's 10 inch. I mean, quite a few of them were even above the 8 inch.
Right. One thing to take from this, I mean, if you average all 27 cores, it comes out to 8.15. Now there's still shallow ones, but to me, that at least says, okay, we got our quantity of cement. It's just maybe a little thicker over here and thinner over here. But as far as quantity, we didn't pay for too little cement, or they didn't short us on that. But that's not the issue at hand. The issue is the depth. But yeah, there were 17 that were within or greater than spec.
Looks like the 500 block was the worst of all of them.
Yes. Yeah, and I didn't average it out, but averaged out to, what would that be, about 7.67 inches. Yeah, the 100, 400, and 800 blocks didn't show any deficiencies. There were, if I remember right, 3 that were a 1/4 inch less. I think 3 that were a 1/2 inch less. One was 0.375 less, 1.675. One that was 3/4 inch less, and then the one that was 7 inches hit that inch mark.
Well, I guess I need a motion to go ahead and approve the next core samples under Mike's authority. Is there a motion? We'll go ahead and approve
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Go ahead, Mike, get her undergoing.
Oh, I think,
Hell, they're gonna charge you extra to come back in, aren't they?
yeah, it'll be another trip charge and then,
Okay.
and then the regular charges.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll get a hold of them first thing in the morning.
Okay, next thing, I guess, we're, Brad Scott, he's not with us, is he?
No, Brad's on vacation this week.
How about Dave Graham? You got anything, Dave?
I just got a couple of quick items. Just to bring the commission up to date, the ultraviolet system that we had talked about out to the wastewater treatment plant, a technician did come in from down in Kansas City. He took a look at it. There's two separate units. He was able to rob from Peter to pay Paul. He got one of them up and it is running. And so we're back into business. Hopefully in one of the next future wastewater projects, this thing can be replaced because it's 18 years old. He did take a look at it and, it's been underwater for 18 years. So yeah, it's done its job. So that being said, we're going to continue to move forward with that. We did have a pump out here at Layton's that during one of the heavy rains where the impeller connects on the shaft, it twisted the shaft off. The pump was built in 1968. So probably what we're going to be looking at with this one is doing a complete new rotating assembly. And so that's just everything new from excluding the volute, just the little centerpiece, and then the motor will be dipped and baked, and but it's going to be expensive too. So those are the projects that are coming up in the wastewater plant, and we'll keep it moving.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. John?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Stacy?
Just a few things. I wanted to thank everybody. We were able to have our staff appreciation barbecue this last Wednesday. It was taco bar style. We had a decent turnout from city staff, but just wanted to go ahead and thank Jane Young and Marianne Wickman for helping me put that together. It was a fun evening, and changed it up with having tacos. So I think I've got my pool staff schedules nailed down that we are able to continue to operate normal hours this week and through the weekend. And then as of next week, we will only be open for weekends. So we'll have one more Saturday and Sunday, and then another Saturday. Our final day will be Saturday, August 28th, and then we'll have a staff cleanup day that following Sunday. Had a really good season so far. I was crunching some numbers today, so it looks pretty good. Some of the things I'm working on right now, we have our flag football registrations open for a camp and a league, a Pee Wee flag football camp, and then our flag football league that the high school football team will be helping host with us. So that'll be fun. We aren't offering a soccer league this year as planned, but we are going to, I'm working on the details of having a soccer camp. And then tomorrow really is my first day that I'm really going to work on all things Halloween. So we have a ton of things scheduled, and hoping to host this year in literally every day in October. So looking forward to getting the fall program started.
Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate it. Dave Wilson's not, was this Gene Atlan?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. The fire department has got some tubes and racks that we use to shoot fireworks out of. The racks are anywhere from 8 foot long to 12 foot long. And the tubes go down in the rack. The tubes are 3 foot long, anywhere from 6 inches down to 4 inches. and there's probably 10 or 12 racks. Ben's, the fire department's not shooting anymore. I just asked that we forward them on to Robinson. They've been, every year has asked for them to use.
Well, they use them when they do their show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not using them anymore, I guess, and the fire department no more interested in doing it. I guess we might just well get rid of them because we don't need them just sitting there and, and deteriorating. And so I'd say go ahead and give it to them.
Because we're donating property to Robinson Fire Department. Yeah, they're homemade. It'd be we'd ask for a motion to donate. Is that the right?
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to transfer the ownership of our fireworks launching equipment to City of Robinson.
Your second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second. Go ahead and donate the property that we're not using for the fireworks. And any other comments? No other comments? We'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. Tish?
I have nothing.
Andy?
I apologize for the late email today about the second part. Two meetings ago, we talked about kind of the meeting procedure and format, especially when it comes to public speakers. And we changed the ordinances, amended the ordinances last meeting to bring those up so they're current. So the only thing left, I think, is currently your city clerk, Tish, has put together a list of guidelines for public speakers. I think she does have the authority to do that. My preference would be for the commission to approve those procedures so that there's not, I guess, any misunderstanding from public speakers that the commission has approved the rules and regulations. So earlier this afternoon, I sent out an email to the commission. It's basically what Tish is using now. The changes have been that, and the more I did these changes, the more I thought these are going to help us comply with the Open Meetings Act, as far as now that we're broadcasting the meeting and we're placing the agenda, online, so to speak. If someone wants to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting, they need to file their request by Wednesday of the meeting before. That way, your city clerk can get them on the agenda the way they're supposed to be. Also, these rules require the speaker to be at the podium and talking to the microphone, not approach the dais where they're not going to be able to be heard by those numerous viewers, up to 3 at a time, that we get on YouTube on our channel. So this is going to kind of keep us in compliance with COMA. After talking to Tish, we shortened the time frame down to 3 minutes instead of 5, thinking that most people can get their opinion across within that period of time. Now, obviously, that doesn't prevent the commission if, like tonight, when Ms. Williams wanted to speak, she wasn't on the agenda to do so. The commission can approve that at any time. Also can extend that 3 minutes if there is conversation questions that the commission wants to get into. So this would just be something that the commission approves that we attach to the request to be on the public comment portion of the agenda.
Well, sometimes you get a speaker that you're in detail information on, they can't cover it in 5 minutes. And we'll have to extend that.
Sure. And I think you're chairing the meeting, you could do that. Or if there's a commissioner that has a question, can extend that time. I know we do have a 3-minute clock that we could put up somewhere to remind people where their time is. We've never done that.
I'm still looking for that clock yet. So
I saw it here. They tried it on me in city court the other night. So
I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, I think it depends on what we're speaking about.
Sure. And let me say, this is a guideline. It is absolutely not something that the commission can't change in the meeting if the commission wants to. So
And sometimes 3 minutes too long, but it depends on who we're talking to. So, whatever. Okay. I don't have a problem with it. It looks good to me.
So I think this is a commission kind of procedures that can be passed by a simple motion without the need for an ordinance or resolution.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to adopt the meeting participation guidelines as discussed.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. You got any comments, Brian?
Nope.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded. We'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Motion carried. Mike?
Just three things. I was contacted by USD 415 regarding the shape of the tennis courts and some needed repairs up on First Street. An agreement does exist wherein the city and USD 415 split the cost of maintenance of the courts. If I remember right, we pay for the lights that surround the courts, and they do the mowing and weed eating and all that. But maintenance of the actual courts is split between the two of us. As such, Stacy and I have talked about it, and we're in the process of contacting companies that do that kind of work just to get some recommendations and estimates on what the cost would be. I did let the superintendent know that our budget for next year is already approved or adopted. And depending on the cost, we'll just have to see where it goes. But I wanted you to know that the topic came up. We had conversation. We're going to look into it.
Well, we need to know how much money.
Oh yeah.
It may have to wait a year.
Yeah. I will say
Over a budget limit, and
they're well
anywhere
used.
we can get some money. So I mean, yeah, I'd say go out. They can go out. I thought maybe they ought to go out and get the bids instead of us.
Oh, we're just going to get estimates and see what we're looking at first before.
I mean, we definitely need to do something because those things are used all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, and not just students. I see lots of adults out there. So
Well, I guess you want a motion on there. You just want to go out and get it.
Just letting you know that we're looking into it.
All right, sounds good.
I would ask though, along the lines of the topic of fireworks, I'd like to get a jump on the 2022 fireworks display and go ahead and go out for bid. I did hear, when we go out in February, we've heard that, well, we're already booked up. So thought that it might be good to go ahead and see if we can.
As long as we don't have to prepay it, we're all right.
No, yeah, exactly. But on that, I would ask for a motion to approve soliciting bids for the 2022 city fireworks display.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we solicit bids for the upcoming 2022 fireworks.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other comments?
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
has Robinson ever expressed any interest in bidding on that, or?
I send them a packet every year. We talked about it a year ago, and with their show the very next day, they didn't commit, but they said, keep sending us the bid request.
You got that Kimmy boy down there in Everest.
Right.
He does a lot of that.
He does them as well.
Nice to
And,
keep the money local, but
yeah.
we got to find somebody that's qualified to do it, so.
Yep. Yeah, they have to be licensed with the state and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robinson, the fire department said, keep sending it to us,
Okay, good.
which it'd be great. It'd be wonderful. Maybe we can get a discount for tubes.
Well, you might one year.
We need to
Let's
vote on
see.
that, right?
Oh, okay. I won't move on then.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Motion.
opposed?
Motion carried.
All right, last thing I have, I mentioned at the last meeting in regards to the traffic signal at First and Oregon, that we were awaiting approval of a permit from KDOT to add a traffic signal light to the back of the mast arm for the northbound First Street traffic at Oregon to benefit the southbound traffic, that inside lane. Since then, I received an email from Michael Hageman with KDOT down in Horton stating he was postponing consideration at this time. He said that this intersection has apparently functioned adequately with the current intersection control, parentheses, noting these were to have been removed roughly 3 years ago based upon the previous traffic study recommendations, close parentheses. It's reasonable to anticipate the intersection conditions will not change significantly, if any, in the near future. The results of the second report, I think he's referring to the TEEP study, will be discussed when available, and further action can also be discussed then as well. We applied for the permit after discussion with with Mr. Hageman and the area engineer. That's why we applied for it, and why I told you we were awaiting the approval. So I, as you might imagine, I expressed my disappointment to Mr. Hageman on the kind of reverse of decision, adding to him that we were only asking to provide additional safety for that southbound traffic. That being said, they're the permitting authority, so we're waiting on the TEEP study, and we'll go from there.
What's that gonna be, another year?
No, it's supposed to be done this month. We should at least see the draft, but if not the
I
final.
thought it was supposed to be done for this.
Well, it was.
Yeah, that's what I
It was
thought.
supposed to be done a year ago, but when everything kind of,
I'm gonna hold that next month to you.
I want it. I want it. But
That
I
way I
want to
got
let you
somebody to
guys
blame.
know that that's what the holdup was. It's disappointing because, it was just for the safety of that southbound inside lane. So we'll see what comes of it.
How long has it been since those lights were taken out? I mean, I know, I think they were taken out due to an auto accident, wasn't it?
Fall of 2016, I think it was November, when that first pole came down. We had the temporary pole up, and then it got hit. But KDOT said we'd still be within standard with that one light on that, would be the southwest corner, West Star pole. West Star said we could use that. In the meantime, KDOT had come to a meeting, I think it was April of 2017. And that's when they brought up doing the TEEP study. And not just for that intersection, but from Iowa, I think all the way up to Miami Street, to catch school traffic, school pedestrian traffic. I mean, kind of all encompassing. It was set to be done last year, but when the state kind of shut everything down with COVID, that put the TEEP study, they told the engineers, stop. So they got them back going again this winter.
And what they wanted to know, Mike, is they just wanted a four-way stop there anyway.
Well, and that's been expressed by Mr. Hageman.
So we'll see how it comes out.
Yeah.
Let's put a roundabout in.
Yeah.
Put a roundabout in.
It's been discussed. There's not enough property yet. It would take a little bit extra.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, they probably wouldn't let us give us the permit to put it in.
Yeah.
It's almost comical. They say the intersection has apparently functioned adequately when the poles were taken out by car accidents, but
Yep.
yet we're.
Yeah, and it's been 5 years ago almost since that accident occurred.
Yeah. Well, that's at one point, Brad Scott and I were on the phone with Mr. Hageman, and we asked him, if there's stop signs, how do you get the kids across? Because right now they can go with the green light. So how do we do that? And I asked him, if the city commission went with stop signs, would KDOT put in a pedestrian bridge? He didn't respond too favorably to that, but I thought, well, there's an option.
Yeah, let's don't make them mad.
Yeah.
That'll be the last thing we need.
It's just a question.
Yeah, just a question. That's all.
Just throwing out options.
But we should have the TEEP study this month, and
Okay, let's hope for the
let you
best.
know. That's all I have for tonight. I will, with Nick being gone this week also, his crew is working on 3 of the 4 remaining demolitions. They've got 1109 Utah on the ground. From there, they're moving to 300 South 10th, or is it? I think it's, or no, maybe it's, 300 South 10th. All I know is the old Shaw House.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 Iowa. And then after that, probably early to mid-September, we'll move over to 310 Hiawatha.
And how's the new list? Has quite a good response to it.
Initially, there was a really good response on, okay, we want to get permits and get it going. I don't want to misquote Dave, but I don't think as many permits have been applied for as they said off the bat. So we kept them on the formal hearing, hoping that they still continue on with that process. That's the goal. But not as many have been applied for as was first said, but it doesn't mean it won't.
Right.
So that would be the goal. There's,
Yeah.
one property over here on Utah that was on it has now changed hands and it's being rebuilt. It's I think the third oldest standing house in Hiawatha. And that's the success. I mean, that's what we want really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want somebody to put some money in it.
Yeah.
These houses, we don't want to tear them down, but
No.
people just won't maintain them, and they're just going to rot, and that's what we've got right now. They're just rotten.
Yeah.
Then you got one over there on Miami Street there on between second and third.
Mhm.
That thing there just about ready to fall on a pile. I don't know why it hadn't been down a long time ago.
Yeah, and that property owner has expressed interest in the agreement, the demolition agreement with the city.
I stopped and talked to him about it.
Mhm.
Told him.
And a couple others have as well. So
Yeah, I already mentioned that to him. So, okay. Anything else, Mike?
that's all I have.
Okay. I see the houses are coming down and they're looking good and get them cleaned up and sounds like all the city employees doing a good job. And I don't get no complaints and I don't get any complaints. I'm happy. So you must be doing a good job. So I have nothing else. Evans,
I don't have anything this evening.
Becky,
Nothing for me.
Dave,
I don't have anything.
Brian.
We've touched on everything, I think.
Good. All right. With that said, is there a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Becky's too busy.
I want to be here all night.
Motion made, second, roll call. Or
All in
vote.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Thanks for coming, everybody left. There. I was gonna, my intention was that vote tonight, so that people wouldn't, no more straws.
Yeah, safe. Be safe.
It was over. The last one. That's right. That's why I told you.
Yeah.
When I started saying, okay.
Cut out.
Yeah.